You know, we're going. Okay.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. I am meteorologist Paul Collar, and I am here with our new meteorologist in charge, Kevin Lynott. So, hello, everybody.
Hi.
So we've been busy all day today here, figuring out how this storm is going to play out. And what we're showing you first here is our winter storm warning that's in effect for a good part of the area. And then a winter weather advisory for the northwest part of our forecast area. Less snow there. But we're going to get into some of the details now of this evolving storm situation. So let's do that.
First thing we better start off with, Paul, after we're done with the presentation, we're going to take a look to see if there's any questions out there. Hopefully we get more folks to join.
Right.
And that's what typically happens in these Facebook Live broadcasts is they may start out slow with the number of folks that are following us, but it generally picks up after a minute or two.
Yeah, maybe we should just, have some nice banter here so we really get the big crowd going here.
Yeah.
And we also have John Gagan here, who's our Science and Operations Officer. So I'm sure he might jump in, although it doesn't look like he wants to join us here. So, but anyways, he did help put together these graphics that we're going to show you. So John has been very helpful in that regard.
Kudos to everybody here at the Milwaukee Sullivan office. And, they've been working hard the last almost 48 hours now with trying to figure out this storm. Paul's going to describe some of that here in a second, but it's just been a lot of different elements that are coming into play here starting tonight across southern Wisconsin and everything you imagine that can happen: rain, sleet, and then mostly snow once we get to the latter part of the storm.
Right, the proverbial kitchen sink. So let's see. Okay, and John did give us some input here, which we'll get to in a little bit. Let's first talk about tonight. And what we're showing you here is our expected snow and ice accumulation. And so this is going to move in tonight from the southwest, and the concern is going to be in the southeast corner. In the graphic forecast ice accumulation, we're showing anywhere from a trace to up to 1/10 of an inch of ice. And as we know, ice is very, very dangerous when it comes to traveling because it doesn't take much to have your car just go right off the road. So we're expecting some ice accumulations here in southeast Wisconsin as the evening goes on. And with that, we also have snow. In areas that are colder, we could see a band of snow 2 to 5 inches from, say, Darlington right on through Madison, West Bend, up to Sheboygan. Lighter amounts further to the northwest. But again, the main focus tonight is going to be that messy mixture. Ice is just no fun.
No, and look, some of the models were even bringing snow from Milwaukee. They're seen southeast corner of the state here starting by mid-evening. We should mention that probably won't, don't be fooled out there right now. We had some sun today. I think we're in the mid to upper 30s across most of southern Wisconsin right now, but that'll change and we should see the precip starting about mid-evening?
Mid-evening.
Yeah,
and again,
mid-evening.
That southeast corner, hopefully Milwaukee, Racine, and Kenosha will stay warm enough longer so that can stay mainly rain. But we do think that as we get later on into tonight, that messy mixture will transition to the east.
Yeah.
So after tonight, we're going to have a break. So Saturday morning, looks like we could see some drizzle, freezing drizzle. But the main energy from the first part of the system is going to lift off. So the precipitation intensity will drop off in the morning, but you really need to watch out for still some lingering freezing drizzle in that around the area. So that's why we have the break in quotes, because some areas may still keep precipitating. It just won't be as heavy as it was overnight.
Well, yeah, before we move on, I think, again, as you mentioned, Paul, we're going to have that little bit of a break. We'll see how, what the snow amounts are going to be like tonight. In some places, there'll be little or no snow cover by the time you wake up Saturday morning. In other places, you may have 2 or 3 inches of snow. Maybe Madison, a little east of Madison,
Yep.
North of places like Waukesha and maybe Oconomowoc. And then again, because this stuff will move south to north as we
Right.
progress through the
Right.
evening,
Right.
and then even up to Sheboygan by later this evening. So again, it's going to be a little bit tricky, but watch how that when you wake up tomorrow morning, you'll have a good idea of what's in store for round two as Paul's getting into now.
Right, right. And so again, the messy mixture tonight and the snow is just the first phase, and then we get the break, and then tomorrow afternoon into tomorrow evening is when we are going to see a pretty good surge of snow into the area. And as you can see here, we've got 4 to about 8 inches of snow across the area. Now, in the western part of our area, especially west of Madison, there may be a sharp cutoff. Our confidence is greater on the heavier snow totals in the eastern part of the state. The west could see less snowfall. We're kind of watching the model trends there as the models have come in. There's some indication that the further west you go in southern Wisconsin, that we'd see less snow. So that's why we're kind of banking on that with our forecast amounts here. But it's not just going to be the snow, it's going to be the wind. We have wind gusts here, 35 to 45 miles an hour. So that could result in some localized blizzard conditions. But we don't think it's going to be sustained for that long a period of time to have widespread blizzard conditions, but just something to keep an eye on when you're out and about.
Yeah, I would say based on what we've looked at with our model data and listening to the forecasters here today, late Saturday afternoon through the evening is when we hit the second peak. And why are we going to have a second peak? Well, the system's moving. It's moving at a pretty good rate.
Right.
So, but we're going to have to watch for intensity of the snow as it picks up. Again, we're talking round 2 here. So that's Saturday afternoon into Saturday evening and Saturday night. One thing I'd like you to talk about just real quickly, Paul, is we're on the back side of the low pressure system that's when the wind really
Right.
picks up out of the northwest. And actually, the moisture's still there. So the moisture kind of wraps around over Lake Michigan and back into our area.
Right.
Explain a little bit of that.
And that's something we often look at on the backside of systems is, not only the strong northerly winds, but, we got the lake there. And when you have a favorable wind off the lake, sometimes we get lake enhancement where that will interact with the existing storm and lead to enhanced bands of higher accumulations of snow. So that is lending even further confidence to the higher snow totals in the eastern part of the state. So again, something to be very aware of tomorrow. And as we get into tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow evening, not only the slick roads, but low visibility with some of the higher snowfall rates. You're going to have to really use caution. Might be a good period of time to just kind of hunker down, especially in the eastern part of the state where that confidence is greater, where we're going to see that heavier amount of snow.
That'll be north of Milwaukee, Port Washington, up to Sheboygan, even as far west as West Bend, Fond du Lac.
Yeah.
So, the whole area is under the gun by Saturday.
And these are our numbers here that we have for the total amount of snow from this system, and the numbers are coming in between 4 and we're seeing some 10-inch numbers there. So that's sort of the range we're comfortable with, and again, the far southeast part of Wisconsin influenced by some of that freezing rain mix. So certainly there for tonight, and then there's less potential as you get further west in our area because the meat of the storm is a little bit further to the east. So again, that's where we have lower confidence in some of those totals in the western areas. So maybe Lone Rock, the Dells, Portage may not see 9 inches, but the lower portion of that range, greater confidence of the higher numbers in the east.
Not the biggest storm we've had, but we've talked a lot about the meteorology and why this is happening with the strong low pressure system, but the impacts are very important when you have a cold enough system and a strong enough low pressure that again is moving from southwest to northeast starting tonight. So let's talk about impacts before we wrap up and maybe even take some questions. Again, we'll see the questions in a little bit. here we go. Well, yeah, this was kind of
Well,
what we've already covered in a
Well,
way.
in some respects, yeah, we're just putting a little time to it,
Yeah.
a little pretty picture here is the orange you see with the and the pink, freezing rain, the mixture. That's really our zone of concern tonight. It's that it's not so much the snow as it is the ice, because that can cause so many problems. And again, that area of rain from Milwaukee to Kenosha hopefully can stay rain for as long as possible, and we keep the ice out of those areas, those really highly populated areas. But inland, Waukesha, right on down to Janesville, you're going to have to really pay very close attention to the road conditions, and maybe when it starts precipitating, just head on in. And we, again, on the left here, we see the times that the precipitation would begin in kind of 5 o'clock in the far southwest part of our area, and then up towards 9 o'clock around in Sheboygan. So things will start amping up rather quickly as we move throughout the evening hours here. And I should point out, we haven't really had a good storm since Halloween?
Yeah.
So I
slightly
think
after
a lot
that,
of us are in for a rude awakening here, especially when you throw ice into the mix.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I would just say this. So if you can't get out and do things this evening, you might have a little break, but you probably want to get those things done by noon or early afternoon on Saturday, no later than that. Just best to stay off the roads and stay in a warm, safe place come Saturday afternoon, especially into the evening hours, because then everything will gradually improve on Sunday.
Right.
The plows and the good folks out there will clear the streets and take care of their communities, of course. So it's just going to be a tricky time between Saturday afternoon through the nighttime hours, especially with that wind. Again, one thing we said, we brought up the wind, but that results in blowing and drifting snow.
Right.
So you may only get 4, 5, 6 inches where you live of snow. However, with the drifting, it could look a lot.
The wind plays a role.
Plays a
and
role.
Sunday, while we're expecting the day to be dry, the blowing will certainly be there because the winds will be in place as well.
Yep.
So please, as Kevin mentioned at the outset, your questions are welcome, and so we'll look and see what you've all had to say, and we'll try to respond to them in short order. So thanks for watching.
Yeah, take a look at this. You can follow us a number of ways. Most of you know how to find us, but if you don't, there's our Twitter handle. We'll even record this, put it on our YouTube channel. Of course, our website, weather.gov/MKE, short for, or MKX, I'm sorry.
MKX, or you can put in Milwaukee,
or you can put in
whatever
Milwaukee.
you want to put in.
Yep, you can put Milwaukee, but MKX would be the end of the URL there to look us up and get all the good information, including the watches, the warnings, and advisories that are currently in place, and that will likely continue through Saturday night, Paul.
Yeah, that's correct. So with that, thank you for watching.
We'll see if we have some questions. If you can escape out of there.
We can do that.
I'm sure there's a number of you following us. Let's give us a second here. We're going to try to get back and let's see. Okay, yeah. Well, you're just there. Hang tight, folks. Okay. Let's take a look.
Well,
we appreciate it. Some of these comments that we're seeing, we're finally looking at them right now after that weather briefing, and glad you were able to follow. And again, now it's time to take action with this storm.
Well, Colin asked about the ice moving in, and again, as the evening moves on, that's when you're going to have to be on alert. So between 6 and 9, things are going to start working into the area.
Yeah, definitely by 9
o'clock. Frank, you're right. It is a complicated storm, so we appreciate the comment. Yes, it is 2 rounds. So the first round, snow and ice tonight, and ending in the early morning hours, a little break, and then the afternoon and evening it will be round 2. Yes. Michael reported that it's 39 now in Menominee Falls. Would love to keep those temps up if we could. Let's see, who else do we have here? Lots of comments. Thank you.
Remember, factor in the wind. Again, we have some things working for us, including the fast-moving nature of this storm. But still, the wind on the backside of it, starting later Saturday, you will feel it almost everywhere across central and southern Wisconsin. That's for sure.
And again, I should underscore that our science officer, John Gagan, wanted to point out that there's still a good deal of uncertainty on that northwest edge on Saturday night. So again, northwest of Madison, there could be a sharp cutoff, and some of those higher totals that we were showing you could be reduced. So just keep that in mind.
So we have a question even about the drive from Johnson Creek to Green Bay Sunday. We kind of know what's going on Sunday afternoon, don't we?
I think there's something going on. I'm
Yeah,
not sure
there's
what.
some kind of game going on.
Yeah.
A football, I believe.
I think it's a football game.
But anyway, the storm will have passed by Sunday. Can't really comment on the road conditions. It just depends how much each area gets. But there will be snow between Green Bay and Milwaukee or southern Wisconsin. So with the accumulations, it will have ended during the day on Sunday. Let's hope the sun comes out and get some of those roads wet during the afternoon, and you'll be fine by evening time.
And Steph asked about the precip break. And again, it may not be much of a break. Some areas may remain with light precipitation during the morning hours. So again, break, but in quotes, just the heavier precipitation should be we should be in a break at that point in time with that.
Yeah, we wish you could get to all your questions.
Andy was asking about next week. I think there's some overall putsy systems. Chris, is that what you've just putsy? Yeah. Okay.
Smaller system.
Smaller
Well, here's a
there.
good question.
Wednesday next week could be interesting.
Wednesday could be interesting. So make note of that.
Donnie asked a question here that relates to what you and Chris just talked about. So will there be a huge cold blast after this storm? The answer really is no, not with this one, but next Wednesday will be interesting. And all the models after next Wednesday, we weren't really going to talk about that here on this broadcast, but there's a lot of cold air that will come down after that system over the Midwest.
It feels like deja vu all over again, because last year, how did our winter go? It sure seems to be shaping up in a similar fashion. So we shall see. Let's see.
Appreciate your comments. Maybe one or two more, and then we're going to sign off here for the afternoon.
Well, and again, the blizzard conditions, again, isolated. Todd had asked about that. And so just use caution this weekend, and we hope you stay safe, and we'll talk again soon.
Good talking with you. Stay safe out there this weekend, and maybe we'll be back on tomorrow. If not, follow us on Facebook, Twitter, or our webpage. Thank you.